Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is a real privilege to be able to open today's event, and it's fantastic that James Cook University is able to host the event this year. It's really wonderful to have everyone come together, albeit online, to share ideas and experiences and have that collegiality and the challenges that we're all facing. This is a group of people who are absolutely essential to the research endeavour of each of your institutions. Our library professionals, our research support staff, data specialists, and all those others who work tirelessly to enable and enhance the research enterprise. In many ways, you're the quiet force that actually stands behind all the successful grants and published papers and media releases and data sets that we have coming out in the research space. So this event is about recognising that work and also reflecting on and sharing the challenges that we're facing and imagining the future that we can help shape together. I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you something about research at James Cook University. At JCU, we have a mission to create a brighter future for life in the tropics and beyond. So we really are wanting to have research that makes a difference locally and globally. So we're a research-intensive regional university. You might know that we have our main campus in the North Queensland city of Townsville, but we also have campuses in Cairns and in Singapore as well. And we have smaller study centres scattered throughout Queensland, so places such as Mount Isa, Thursday Island, Mackay and Brisbane. At JCU, we really pride ourselves on being a civic university. So what we mean by that is that we're embedded in our tropical homes and communities, and we're responsive to their needs, as well as undertaking research that's of importance globally. So when we talk about our region, we talk not only about Northern Queensland, but also about Asia Pacific and beyond. In particular, I think JCU really has a mandate to address issues which are of national or international importance, particularly with a tropical focus. If we think about the tropics, it really has some amazing statistics. About 40% of the world's population lives in the tropics. About half of the children in the world who are under 15 live in the tropics. The tropics is an area of rapid change economically. It's also a hotspot of biodiversity. Some 80% of the plant's terrestrial species are found in the tropics. So it's a pretty amazing, interesting place. But it's also a place which is really vulnerable to the effects of climate change. The tropics are also home to a diversity of languages and cultures and Indigenous groups. So as a university in the tropics, we see that mandate and we undertake research that covers a whole bunch of these areas. So we think areas of significance around marine and terrestrial sciences. So marine sciences is something that JCU is particularly well known for, but we do a lot in ecology and biodiversity and climate change as well. Health is really important in our research, particularly around tropical health and medicine and public health. We're also interested in our regions and our regional economies and building resilient economies and the engineering and decarbonisation and the other agendas that go along with that. We have strong support for Indigenous self-determination and Indigenous futures, and that underpins much of our research and teaching activities right across the institution. But while we're well known for marine sciences, we're actually a very broad institution. So for example, we have a Centre for Australian Literature and Creative Writing, and it supports one of Australia's oldest and esteemed literary awards, the Margaret and Colin Roderick Literary Award for the Best Australian Book of the Year. So we cover a whole gamut of space that's important to Australia, to North Queensland, to the tropics and globally. Here at JCU, it's the collaborations, of course, that make our team successful. So the library, Jay Cherie's team in particular, Research and Innovation Services, our research office, the Graduate Research School. I think we all come together well to provide a consistent and collaborative research support to provide our services to the research community. The library, for example, is particularly active in encouraging and supporting open access, which is a really essential component of having our research visible to a broad community. So I'm sure as you talk over these coming days, I'd like you to reflect maybe on two challenges that our sector is facing at present. The first, we might call a trust challenge. So we're living in a time when trust in science and the institutions that support it is under strain. We saw during COVID how misinformation can spread much faster than facts. We're seeing public skepticism towards university and research. We saw during the Accord and the Australian federal government touch briefly on research, but only briefly, and we've heard little around research settings more recently, other than how it might assist to drive productivity. We don't have strong support for universities as a whole, and in some parts of the world, we're seeing actual blatant hostility. So I think in this climate, our role of research support, the research and the research support becomes super vital. Trust, of course, has the foundations in the systems that we designed. So the way that we curate our metadata, the repositories we maintain, the access, the transparency, reproducibility, accessibility, and integrity that we have in research is absolutely vital to being able to build and maintain that trust. So I think for the research support services that we have, it's about not only making research possible, but making it credible and trustworthy. I think we have a lot to do beyond just talking with ourselves about rebuilding trust. It's also about conveying and convincing the general public that what we're doing in research is transparent and credible and ethical and has integrity. At JCU, we're starting to build our research agenda through a challenge-based approach. And part of that is to respond to the needs of our stakeholders, to demonstrate the impact that we can have at a broader community. How do we assist our communities and in our regions and nationally and internationally to have an impact in our research, which is meaningful to them? So as we've undergone this process, we've started with 10 research directions through workshops. It's an iterative process, and we're now undergoing some further refinement. Underpinning that is the JCU Horizons program. It's a strategic hire scheme that's built around programs of research and team building not only our capability, but also building that research culture that we want to be able to support amongst researchers. So all of this is designed to build scale and focus for JCU, but also particularly to lead that impactful research in partnership with our stakeholders. The other area that's a critical challenge for us is around the disruption we're seeing with AI. While we're seeing some change across all the universities through reduced or uncertainty in funding, particularly as a result of changes around international student recruitment, I think it's the disruption of AI that's going to be the most significant challenge that will force change on us. Of course, AI is a force for both good and evil, if we like, but if you really want to stay awake at night, and what keeps me awake at night is considering the fabricated papers that we're seeing our way made into published journals, the manipulations of citation data, and things where AI is actually starting to really challenge that trust and integrity in science. I think that's going to be a significant challenge for us. Of course, AI is also giving us those tools to transform the research landscape, how we search for data, how we write, how we review, how we curate knowledge, all those opportunities and challenges coming through. We've got to be able to ensure the ethical use of AI in scholarly communications. How do we support researchers in navigating these new tools while safeguarding academic integrity? That's one of our main challenges that we have. How do we adapt our practices in metadata discovery, digital preservation? So these are in some ways technical questions, but broader than that, they're actually strategic questions. And your expertise is absolutely central to answering these. In this time of disruption, your role is not diminished, but actually elevated. So it's really a time for us all to show up, bring our creativity with us to reflect on what we do, how importantly we can support our researchers and the research endeavour. How do we put our research as the core of what we do, but able to tackle these most significant challenges? So overall, I think the world needs research more than ever, and our researchers, of course, need you. Your work ensures the knowledge is not just created, but also shared, not just cited, but understood, coming out with impact. I see our our research support staff as the connectors, the translators of the organisation. So today it's about supporting one another, but more than that, I think it's about leadership. How do we recognise that critical role that you play in shaping the future of research and research support? How do we build a community that values and supports and celebrates that work? So let me finish there and just thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do behind the scenes, often without fanfare, but everything you do to keep that research ecosystem thriving. So I hope this event is a space for learning, for connecting, but also for imagining what's possible. So thank you and good luck over the next few days.